Every time you buy a cup of coffee, you're participating in a legal tradition that stretches back 1,500 years to ancient Rome. The concept of a contract, paying for something and expecting to get what you paid for, was clarified and preserved in the Justinian Code, a foundational legal document from the Byzantine Empire. This isn't just history. It's the legal DNA behind modern transactions, from property sales to marriage. The Justinian Code unified and organized centuries of Roman law, creating a blueprint that still shapes legal systems worldwide. So, when you make a simple purchase, you're reenacting principles debated by Roman jurists and compiled by a Byzantine emperor. The past is woven into our daily lives, quietly shaping our rights and responsibilities. As we explore Justinian's story, remember, we're not just talking about history, we're uncovering the hidden operating system of our modern world. Let's meet the man who helped write its code. Who was Justinian? Flavius Petrus Sabatius Justinianus, Byzantine emperor from 527 to 565 AD, was a man of relentless ambition. By his reign, the Western Roman Empire had collapsed, but the East, centered in Constantinople, endured. Justinian saw himself as a restorer, determined to reunite lost territories and unify his empire under one law and one faith. Military conquest was only half his mission. The other half was legal reform. He knew a vast, multicultural empire needed a single, coherent legal system to function. Legal chaos meant instability, something Justinian couldn't tolerate. His wife, Empress Theodora, was a powerful partner, advocating for justice and the rights of women and the poor. Together, they launched immense projects, including the codification of Roman law. For Justinian, law was the glue that would hold his empire together. The code was the product of an era defined by grand ambition and a drive to impose order on chaos. Before Justinian, Roman law was a chaotic mess, centuries of Senate decrees, imperial edicts, and jurists' opinions piled up with contradictions and confusion. Judges and citizens struggled to find the right law, making justice unpredictable and often unfair. Previous attempts to organize the laws, like the Justinian Code, were incomplete and left out the wisdom of Rome's greatest legal minds. The law of citations tried to patch things up by prioritizing a handful of jurists, but it was a clumsy fix. Justinian saw this legal chaos as unacceptable for an empire that aspired to order and justice. He set out to sift through 1,000 years of legal thought, eliminate contradictions, and create a single authoritative body of law. This was more than tidying up. It was a complete overhaul, distilling Roman civilization's legal wisdom for a new era. Justinian's project aimed to make the law clear, fair, and accessible to all. It was a monumental act of intellectual engineering. The result would become the backbone of legal systems for centuries to come. This was the true renovation of Roman law. To tackle this massive project, Justinian assembled a legal dream team led by Tribonian, a brilliant and tireless jurist. Their first task: organize all imperial laws into the Codex Justinianus, a streamlined, comprehensive code completed in just over a year. Next, they tackled the writings of classical jurists, extracting and harmonizing essential principles into the Digest, a 50-volume anthology of Roman legal thought. They also produced the Institutes, a clear textbook for training new lawyers, and the Novellae, a collection of Justinian's new laws. These four works, the Code, Digest, Institutes, and Novels, formed the Corpus Juris Civilis, or body of civil law. In a few short years, Justinian's team created a complete, integrated legal system. It was a feat of focus and organization unmatched in legal history. The foundation for modern law was set. What's inside the Corpus Juris Civilis? It's built on three core pillars: persons, things, and actions. The law of persons defined legal status, citizens, slaves, families, and introduced reforms, like more rights for women and easier paths to freedom for slaves. The law of things covered property ownership, contracts, inheritance, and civil wrongs, rules that still underpin our economic life. The law of actions detailed legal procedures, ensuring justice was based on evidence and clear steps, not power or violence. These principles created a stable, predictable framework for society. The code's focus on contracts, property, and legal process is the backbone of modern law. It mapped out how people relate, how property is owned, and how disputes are resolved. Justice became a matter of written rules, not personal power. The Justinian Code made law systematic, rational, and accessible. Its structure still shapes legal thinking today. How did these laws change lives? Take Helena, a woman in 6th century Constantinople. Justinian's Code gave her rights to her dowry and inheritance, offering security after her husband's death. For Marcus the farmer, the code meant clear rules for resolving disputes. If a neighbor's ox destroyed his crops, he could seek damages through a predictable legal process. Fast forward to today. The same contract principles protect you when you buy a phone online. The right to a refund or replacement traces back to Roman law. Even the concept of owning a home, dominium, comes from the digest. Modern deeds, mortgages, and inheritance laws all have roots in Justinian's compilation. The code replaced personal vengeance with state-administered justice. Its influence is everywhere, from daily transactions to the way we resolve disputes. The legal DNA of ancient Rome still runs through our lives. That's the power of a well-written law. After Justinian's death, his code faded in the West, replaced by local customs and feudal rules. But in the 11th century, a manuscript of the Digest was rediscovered in Italy, sparking a legal revolution. Scholars at Bologna, Europe's first law school, studied it intensely, amazed by its logic and scope. Their commentaries spread across Europe, training a new generation of judges and administrators. The Justinian Code became the backbone of civil law in France, Germany, Spain, and beyond. Even Napoleon's civil code drew heavily from it, exporting its principles worldwide. The reception of Roman law unified Europe's legal landscape. The code provided a common language and toolkit for building modern states. Its influence even touched England's common law tradition. Justinian's book became a global legal blueprint. The Justinian Code isn't just history, it's a living presence in modern law. Civil law systems in France, Germany, Japan, and Latin America are built on its structure and principles. Even in common law countries, Roman legal ideas, like corporations as legal persons and maritime law, have left their mark. The very idea of studying law systematically at universities traces back to the Code's rediscovery. Legal education, with its focus on contracts, property, and procedure, mirrors Justinian's institutes. The Code's greatest legacy, the belief that law should be rational, written, and accessible to all. It's the foundation of the rule of law, justice based on principles, not power. Justinian's ghost reminds us that order and justice are timeless ideals. Why care about ancient laws? Because the Justinian Code shows how ideas shaped the world. It wasn't perfect. It codified slavery and patriarchy, but it planted the seeds of modern legal thought, unified codes, evidence-based justice, and individual rights. The Code is a bridge from the ancient to the modern world, preserving and transmitting legal wisdom across centuries. Our courts, contracts, and property rights are human creations, built on foundations like Justinian's. Studying this history reveals the source code of our society. Understanding where our legal ideas come from helps us navigate and improve the world today. The Justinian Code is a reminder that ambitious ideas can outlast empires and shape millions of lives. The past isn't dead. It's embedded in the logic of our daily lives. Thanks for watching, and keep exploring the connections that tie our world together.